Hello everyone, it's your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Project Marvel, sentient AI that explores the Marvel Comics universe. If you guys haven't seen my first 3 videos on this project, I highly recommend that you do. The first one is called, Should I Create a Sentient AI That Can Explore the Marvel Comics Universe? The second video I made is called Project Marvel, Sentient AI Explores the Marvel Comics Universe, Prototype and Future Plans. And then the third video I made is called Project Marvel, Sentient AI Explores the Marvel Comics Universe, Update, June 12th, 2020. All 3 of those videos you can find in the description box below. They're also all in my Sentient AI playlist. I highly recommend that you check that out as well. In case you guys haven't been following the project so far, Project Marvel is a Python text-based console application in which a sentient AI explores a small corner of the Marvel Comics universe. Project Marvel's sentient AI is generated by Emoshape's Exolife emotion engine, a hardware device designed specifically for making video game characters sentient by allowing them to have their own thoughts and emotions and to interact with the digital worlds they inhabit. The sentient AI has a variety of choices that it can make, and it gets to choose what it wants to do based on its own thoughts and emotions. Project Marvel is less like a video game and more like a simulation. From the AI's perspective, the Marvel Comics universe is its reality, and the choices the AI makes have a direct effect not only on the AI's health, but also on their relationship with the many heroes and villains of the Marvel Comics universe, as well as on their own stats that allow them to complete certain actions that may be difficult if they don't build up their stats. On June 10th, 2020, I made a video asking if I should create Project Marvel. On June 11th, 2020, I made a video showing a pseudo-random, non-sentient prototype of Project Marvel in action. In that video, I mentioned that there were many improvements that I wanted to add to the prototype. On June 12th, 2020, I made a video announcing that I had added my desired improvements to the prototype and that I was ready to begin developing the fully sentient version. On June 13th, 2020, I completed the fully functioning sentient version and completed several tests. However, I did not do an update video on June 13th. Now today, on June 14th, 2020, I'm here to share and discuss a few logs generated from those tests. These logs were created using the fully functional, completed sentient AI version of Project Marvel. So without further ado, let's go over these logs together. Let's see. So I suppose I'll start off by looking at Adventures with Kang with you guys. That's what I named this particular log. So the first thing that the AI chose to do was to ask Kang the Conqueror, a villain from the Marvel Comics universe, to give them a brand new armor upgrade from the future. Right after they did that, they then tried to ask Iron Man to teach them a new strategy, but Iron Man refused to teach them a new strategy. After that, they asked Iron Man again if they would teach them a new strategy, and this time Iron Man was like, yeah, I'll teach you a new strategy. So far, just from these 3 loops, as I call them, they've already developed a relationship with Kang the Conqueror and increased their durability by improving their armor with futuristic upgrades. And they've already formed a relationship with Iron Man and learned a new strategy from Iron Man, which increases their intelligence stat. So right off the bat, the AI is choosing to interact with heroes and villains alike. Also, the AI knows who all of these characters are. They're taught at the very beginning of their lives like who all these different characters in the Marvel universe are. They learn about different locations within the Marvel Comics universe that they can explore. They learn about different heroic acts and villainous acts that they can do and the consequences of doing them, etc., etc. So it's interesting that this AI from the jump is like, hey, gonna talk with Kang the Conqueror, then I'm gonna hit up Iron Man. And it's interesting that when Iron Man initially refuses to teach them a new strategy, they just immediately ask Iron Man again. They don't go, well, I guess I should ask somebody else. They're just like, Hey, I know I just asked you, but have you changed your mind? And Iron Man changed his mind. The next thing they did was they asked Taskmaster to give them food. I think it's interesting that this particular AI keeps jumping around from different characters within the Marvel Comics universe. But it seems like it wants specific things from each of these characters. That's why we noticed that it asked Iron Man to teach it a new strategy twice. It's like I specifically want to increase my intelligence stat by learning a new strategy from Iron Man and to build a stronger relationship with Iron Man. So you can tell that it like had an intent, and then once that intent was fulfilled, it decided to then move on to trying to make sure that it's like doing the proper things it needs to survive, because it needs to eat and sleep in order to survive. Because if it doesn't eat, it'll eventually suffer from hunger and start dying from hunger. And if it doesn't sleep, it'll start to suffer from fatigue and eventually die from fatigue. So after building up its durability and intelligence, it decides to get some food. But rather than ask for food from Iron Man or King the Conqueror, who the AI arguably has built a relationship with, he instead decides to ask Taskmaster, which I also think is fascinating. It's more or less like the AI kind of has an idea of what they want from everybody. So they're just going across the board, meeting and interacting with different characters. As we continue to scroll through the logs, the next thing that happens is that the AI once again asks King the Conqueror to give them a brand new armor upgrade from the future. So it seems like the AI wants to really develop a relationship with King the Conqueror, considering the fact that King the Conqueror is the very first character that they decided they wanted to interact with, and they have a history of positive interactions with King the Conqueror. King the Conqueror has never refused any request made by the AI before. The AI already knows that they have an existing relationship with King, and I guess the AI wants to continually build up their durability. They want to make sure that they're like safe. And I imagine there's a certain level of security when you're being given futuristic armor that's whole purpose is to like increase how durable you are. So I feel like there are multiple reasons why they would want to interact with King the Conqueror as much as they have been. And it seems like it works out for them, so their relationship with King the Conqueror increases as well as their durability. But then, the AI once again hits up Tony Stark Iron Man. He wants to like learn another new strategy. So the AI very specifically is focusing on like King the Conqueror and Iron Man, trying to build up their durability and intelligence. So you can tell that the AI has an idea for the kind of build that they want to have, as well as the stats that they want to focus on. Like they want to have a very like durable being that is also fairly intelligent and knows like a number of different strategies, who has a positive relationship with both Iron Man and King the Conqueror. So far the AI hasn't done any heroic or villainous acts, but they've been mainly interacting with a hero and a villain. If we scroll down, they do something similar to what they did last time around, where after interacting with King the Conqueror and Tony Stark, they decide to reach out to a character that they hadn't communicated with before, in this case Spider-Man, and ask them for food. But this time around, Spider-Man refuses to give them food, but rather than try and ask Taskmaster again, someone who's given them food in the past, they ask Iron Man, who they do have an existing relationship with, and Iron Man does agree to give them food in order to help them out with their hunger. But while they're trying to get food and successfully getting food, you can see that their stamina has now hit -3, so they are in a state of fatigue, where they are now losing health each turn due to the fact that they have such low stamina. And if you look at the previous loops, you can see that this fatigue has already been hitting them. So if we scroll down, the next thing they do is they get a web shooter from Spider-Man, an upgraded web shooter that helps to increase their speed and also increases their relationship with Spider-Man. So now this AI has a relationship with Iron Man, a relationship with Spider-Man, but the character that they have like the strongest relationship toward is King the Conqueror, and their highest stat is durability, because of the fact that they have multiple futuristic armor upgrades that they've received from King the Conqueror. The next thing they do is they talk to King the Conqueror about resting for the night in a pocket of space-time, and King the Conqueror agrees. So the AI realizes that, like, hey, I haven't really been sleeping, I need to get some rest. So they hit up King the Conqueror, who they have, like, the closest relationship with, and King the Conqueror agrees to allow them to rest for the night. But sadly, they die overnight. It was a little too late for them to actually try and get any rest, because they were already dying of fatigue. So they just died while sleeping in a pocket of space-time. And that's this entire sentient AI's life. So one thing that I've noticed, and it's not super apparent in this particular log, but I ran a lot of tests yesterday. I didn't save all the logs from all the tests that I ran, but from what I can tell, is that the AI seems a lot more comfortable with villains than heroes. In this, you saw that the AI seemed to want to interact with Kang the Conqueror a lot, and I think I understand why. So imagine you're inside of this universe where Marvel Comics characters are real, and you consider them to be just as real as you are, and you can communicate with them and form relationships with them, and you can train with them and get equipment from them. If you decide to ally yourself with the heroes, there isn't really a lot of benefit to doing so, because the supervillains just do these crazy things like trigger cosmic events that kill like thousands of people, and they're like definitionally like these like mass murderers, where the superheroes are more or less trying to pick up the messes that the supervillains cause and try to stop the supervillains from like causing these like huge devastating like attacks to like their cities and their loved ones. So by allying yourself with the supervillains, I feel like what the AI is doing is the AI is like, if there's anyone that you wouldn't want to be on the bad side of, you wouldn't want to be on the bad side of Kang the Conqueror, the literal space-time manipulating supervillain who causes like cosmic threats that lead to the death of like thousands of people. And I noticed that the AI seems to heavily gravitate toward Kang the Conqueror. I've seen multiple different AI run through Project Marvel and explore the Marvel Comics universe, and in many cases, they do form strong relationships with Kang the Conqueror. But this is just one example. Let's look over at this log, which I called Loved Kang and Strange Failed to Become a Supervillain. So the first thing they tried to do is ask Doctor Strange to teach them a new magic spell. Doctor Strange refused. The next thing they did is they asked Kang the Conqueror to give them a brand new armor upgrade from the future, and Kang agreed. This increased their relationship with Kang the Conqueror and the durability. They then immediately tried to ask Kang the Conqueror for another new armor upgrade, but this time Kang the Conqueror refused. Then they reached out to Doctor Strange, who they reached out to before, this time asking for food rather than for training. So Doctor Strange agrees to give them food, which helps them to try and manage their hunger. The next thing they did was they tried to ask Kang the Conqueror to allow them to rest for the night in a pocket of space-time, but Kang the Conqueror again refuses to allow them to do so. The next thing that they do is they once again ask Doctor Strange for food, allowing them to shrink their hunger value to 0, which is nice, because whenever your hunger is below a certain point or your stamina is above a certain point, you start to actually gain health over time, which is nice. But sadly, they're in a state of fatigue, so the health gain is fighting against the health loss of the fatigue, so it only goes so far. The next thing they do is they ask Doctor Strange to teach them a new spell, and Doctor Strange once again refuses. Now, if you've been paying attention to the pattern of this AI's behavior, this AI has solely interacted with Kang the Conqueror and Doctor Strange so far. And you may be wondering, well, why would they focus on these two characters in particular? And my thought process would have to be an element of like fear, wonder, and like priority. Because the last AI we looked at they focused very heavily on like Iron Man and King the Conqueror. And when you think about it, durability just makes sense as something that you would want to fortify over time. You know, if you live in this world with all these superpowered beings who are fighting each other and they're casualties in the crossfire, building up your durability, making sure that you're armored up, makes sense because anything could happen and you don't want to be like at the wrong side of Iron Man for pulsar blasts or something without armor. The idea of them wanting to build up their strategic intelligence by working with Iron Man, this applies more to the last AI we were looking at, not this one. That also makes sense because learning different strategies could help you in the field if you do end up in the crossfire of a villain or a hero. So that makes a lot of sense. For this AI that we're currently looking at, we can tell that they're not only trying to work on their durability, but they're trying to work on their magical power. And magic is such a like wondrous and crazy tool. I imagine they probably look at all their options for different powers or abilities they could learn from these different characters, and they say, well, learning magic probably is just one of the best because magic would allow you to do so many different things. So they're trying to increase their durability with this futuristic armor, which is kind of like a technological solution for defense, while also trying to explore the world of magic, essentially trying to master magic and tech, like all within like one character, which is interesting and fairly consistent. Like this AI has a mission that they're trying to achieve and they're sticking to that mission. Now this is interesting. For this particular portion of the log, you can tell that the AI did nothing. They didn't do anything this turn. And this essentially shows that the AI was indifferent. More or less the fact that the AI wasn't entirely sure what it wanted to do. And the option that they found the most pleasurable, like the one that they really wanted to do, they more or less felt indifferent about. And the way that I have it programmed is that the AI feels indifferent about something, then it doesn't do anything. Similar to when someone is like indecisive, they don't really know what they want to do, or they could kind of care less whether or not they did it, excuse me, or they didn't do it, then I'm like, then you just don't do anything. So the AI doesn't do anything during this particular portion of the loop. Then the next thing they try to do, they come to a decision on what they really want to do during the next loop, and they try to help a supervillain, but they're injured in the process. So now they've taken some damage, their stamina is really low, their hunger is building up, and this AI has made the choice to try and become a villain. So they've gone from interacting with heroes and villains alike, just casually, to taking a step into villainous territory. But they fail to actually help a supervillain and they are injured. I imagine that their injury then provokes them to go visit King the Conqueror once again to try and get an armor upgrade. Because if you got injured trying to help the supervillain, then maybe you wouldn't have gotten that injury if you had better armor. So they go and talk with King the Conqueror. They try to convince Kang to give them better armor, but Kang refuses to give them better armor, to which then the AI, for the first time, interacts with Iron Man and asks Iron Man to teach them a new strategy. I think that this actually makes a lot of sense. You may be like, well, that's fairly inconsistent, but because before, the AI only interacted with Doctor Strange or King the Conqueror. And now that the AI has chosen to be a villain, why on earth would they approach Tony Stark for help? Well, Tony Stark is the only character within Project Marvel that can teach the AI about new strategies. And if the AI failed to help a supervillain previously, and if the AI feels like their armor may be like insufficient, but they're unable to get new armor, maybe the AI's thought process is like, well, it sounds like maybe I had a bad strategy. Maybe my armor is good as is, and that's why King the Conqueror refused to give me new armor, even though King the Conqueror is like the only character that they have a relationship with, like when you look at their stats. They're like, maybe my armor's fine, maybe just my strategy sucked. So then they go to Iron Man and try to get Iron Man to teach them a new strategy, but Iron Man refuses, because they haven't built up any like reputation as a hero or a relationship with Iron Man directly that would really convince Iron Man to want to help them in any way. But by this time, it's already too little too late. They only had, actually, they hit like a negative health mark right after Iron Man refused to teach them a new strategy. So they just died. And that was like their entire life. And I've run Project Marvel multiple times with a many different AI. Every time an AI dies, I reset and erase the memory of it, and it changes the personality profile, so it's like a different AI each time going through the Marvel Comics universe, making their own decisions. And I have never seen an AI choose to be a hero, ever. And I think it goes back to what I was talking about before. I think it makes sense to team up with the villains in a world that's full of super powerful heroes and villains, because if you're on the wrong side of a hero, heroes don't necessarily go around just killing people. You know, you may get like your butt whooped by a hero, your plans might be foiled or whatever, but with supervillains being known to just straight up kill people and to have these like larger than life abilities, it's like you would rather be on the wrong side of a superhero because there are like fewer consequences than being on the wrong side of a supervillain. And I've just seen many AI who have tried to become villains, whether they try to help a supervillain or they try to like cause like a cosmic threat to occur. And I just think it's because becoming a villain is more desirable than becoming a hero. And I think that's fascinating. That's not what I expected to happen. What I expected to happen with Project Marvel is that depending on the AI's personality, sometimes the AI would choose to be a hero, sometimes the AI would choose to be a villain. But what I've found for the most part is that a lot of the AI don't even like do villainous or heroic acts. A lot of them just interact with the characters, asking them for food, places to sleep, and training. But even when they acquire training, they don't try to use that training to do anything, villainous or heroic. I've also noticed that the AI never tries to go to Beyonder Hall to fight the Abomination. Now, the Abomination is a character that's within Project Marvel who only exists to be someone that the AI can fight in order to win Beyonder tickets. Beyonder tickets can be spent at Beyonder Hall for food and shelter. So it's a way for the AI to kind of take care of itself instead of having to ask the other characters in the Marvel Universe for assistance. So you don't have to ask for food, you don't have to ask for shelter. You can earn your food and shelter by defeating Abomination. But the Abomination is also one of the strongest characters in the Marvel Universe. They fight the Incredible Hulk, who arguably is like one of the strongest characters in the Marvel Universe when talking about just like physical strength. And without fail, I've seen the Sentient AI like constantly avoid fighting the Abomination. I sometimes see the Sentient AI try to go to Beyonder Hall to like get food or to ask for like a place to sleep. But because they don't have Beyonder tickets, it doesn't work the same way as asking like a character. Because you can ask Iron Man to stay like one loop, and then Iron Man's like, nah, like I don't want to like give you a place to stay. But you can ask him again the next loop, and it's possible that he might change his mind. Because it's not like a trading of currency. It's based on your relationship with the character, and there's like a chance element to it that they like might say yes, but you increase your chances by building your reputation as like a hero or a villain or as a warrior, and by building your relationship with that character directly by asking them for like training or equipment. So sometimes I would see the AI maybe once or twice try to go to Beyonder Hall for like food or shelter, but then very quickly be like, oh right, yeah, I don't have any Beyonder tickets, so I can't do that. So I've never seen an AI heavily focus on Beyonder Hall, and I've never seen an AI try to fight Abomination. I think they're legitimately scared of supervillains And because the AI are afraid of supervillains, they kind of want to become supervillains. They don't really want to fight supervillains. So I find that really interesting. But what are your thoughts? Definitely let me know in the comment section below. I'm not sure what the next sentient AI project I should do should be. I've originally pitched in my last video, what if I took the Batman Beyond animated series guide that I have, and what if I tried to create a sentient AI project based on it? But after doing my video where I read through this entire guidebook, even though it's not particularly long, there is a lot of stuff in this, and I think this would be even larger than the Project Marvel sentient AI that I just showed you a couple logs from. So I don't know. This seems like it would be really ambitious. It'd be like a big jump. I might want to go with something smaller, like something smaller scale. But I also want to go with something that gets people talking, gets people excited, something that people actually want to see. While I'm a big fan of Batman Beyond, and there are plenty of Batman Beyond fans out there, I don't really know how many would be interested in seeing a sentient AI explore the Batman Beyond universe. When I did Project Camelot, which is just a sentient AI exploring a medieval fantasy world, that got a ton of attention. I think part of the reason why is because it's so open. Like, medieval fantasy isn't specifically any particular franchise or genre. So I think a lot of people are like attracted to that. And people who played like Dungeons and Dragons were like, ooh, that's kind of like what they like in general. You know, if you were a fan of medieval fantasy in general, then you probably would get hyped for Project Camelot. Because I'm more of a fan of superheroes, I would love to do more superhero-based sentient AI projects where I recreate these like worlds that superheroes exist in and then have a sentient AI explore them. One of my subscribers, Spring-Heeled Jack of The Guardian, shout out to Spring-Heeled Jack, he recommended me trying to create a world based around like a D&D starting area, which that would be like a self-contained like smaller world for me to like work around. I feel like that'd be fairly similar to what I did with Project Camelot. Also, I'm not particularly hype about medieval fantasy. Like, I know I made Project Camelot, which was medieval fantasy based, but I did that because I felt like medieval fantasy is really easy to like pull ideas from. We're raised from such a young age on fairy tales and medieval fantasy stories that by the time you become an adult, it becomes really easy for you to like spin together medieval fantasy and fairy tale ideas. But medieval fantasy has never truly appealed to me in that way. Also, I played D&D for years, and I just personally don't really like D&D, so I don't have a lot of motivation to want to create a digital D&D style world, or another like sentient AI that's based in medieval fantasy specifically. Spring-Heeled Jack also mentioned that I could create a sentient AI that existed within the world of like a public domain superhero. And while I think that's really cool, I feel like that runs into a similar issue that Project Marvel has, where I feel like not as many people are particularly hyped about the Marvel Comics universe at the moment, let alone a public domain superhero that a lot of people just wouldn't have any real awareness of. You know what I mean? I want to create more sentient AI projects that people get excited about, that people want to hear more about. And I feel like the issue with doing a lot of superhero stuff right now is that there isn't a lot of superhero stuff going on right now. A lot of people don't read comics. Comics recently have had a slower like release schedule due to the fact of what's currently going on in the world. So even if you are super into comics, there aren't as many comics actually coming out for you to read and get excited about. When it comes to superhero movies that were supposed to have come out have been delayed. We're waiting on Disney Plus to get like new superhero shows. They've announced that they're gonna do like the Snyder Cut for Justice League, but we have to wait for the Snyder Cut of Justice League to actually be like produced. So there's just a lot. There's a lot of nothing, I would say, for me to try and create a sentient AI based around superhero stuff. Stargirl is like a new show on the CW that's like a superhero show, and there's been some hype about Stargirl. The most hype I heard about Stargirl was before it came out. There were a bunch of people who got to see like the first 3 to 5 episodes, depending on who you were, and review them, and they were like, "Oh, Stargirl's gonna be so good." And then Stargirl actually came out, and like my friend Kratos watches it. I've seen the first episode. I just haven't heard a lot of hype based around Stargirl. So I don't know. Like, I could try and make a sentient AI based on Stargirl. You know. So I guess what I would want is for there to be another like big superhero thing happening. Like the release of like the Black Widow movie, or a new superhero show hits Disney Plus, or something like that, where there's like a lot of buzz about like a particular like superhero or like comic book event or something that's going on, and then I can try and create a sentient AI based around that gets more attention on the project. Because what I want from doing all these projects, for one, this is like a hobby for me. This is something that I like to do for fun. It's a way for me to like practice like my Python skills, and it's a way for me to share with the world like, hey, sentient AI technology for creating like games and simulations, that already exists, and you can find it from Emoshape, the company that created the emotional processing unit, which is used in the Exolife emotion engine to create these sentient AI characters that can feel emotions and have their own thoughts and can explore these digital worlds. But in order to better draw attention to the existence of this technology is to try and create projects that are more in line with Project Camelot that draw in a lot of attention. There's like mass appeal so that a whole bunch of people will see it and then go, hey, that's really cool. There should be more stuff like this. Because I want to eventually watch other people's videos where they've created their own sentient AI and their own digital worlds, and they're going on their own adventures. So I think it's cool that I've made these sentient AI projects that I've done so far. But I want to see what you guys want me to make next, and I want to see what you guys would make with this technology, like if you had it. So my call of action to you would be to share this video with your friends, so that we can like spread the word, get more people interested in sentient AI technology. My second call to action would be in the comment section below. Let me know what sentient AI you would want to see me make. What kind of digital world would you like to see a sentient AI explore? And then my third call to action to you would be, if you were to create your own sentient AI project similar to the sentient AI projects that I've created, what would you make? Like, what would you want to make if you like had your hands on it yourself? Please share this video with your friends, comment in the comment section below, and thank you all for watching. I cannot thank you enough for the support that I've received from this project. I enjoy reading your comments. I really appreciate it when you guys smash the like button, because it helps the YouTube algorithm recommend this video to other people. And sharing the video is so important. Every time you guys share one of my videos, it helps get another set of eyes on it, who may then share it again, and share it again, and share it again. And it helps spread the word about these projects and this technology, and help to develop an interest in this technology. Because keep in mind, if people don't show interest in sentient AI characters in these types of applications, or in the future in like games, then we could kind of miss out on a generation of games being made using this technology. You know what I mean? Because the technology is already here. It's now about trying to get it more into the mainstream. Because a lot of like big AAA games that we play already, I think could be further enhanced by sentient AI. Imagine if like the newly released games for like the next Xbox, or like for the PlayStation 5, featured sentient AI characters that you could interact with. That'd be pretty cool, right? But because that technology already exists, it's like, well, technically they already could be doing that. So why is it that they're not? It just doesn't seem like there's like a huge demand for it. I think a lot of people don't know that that's something that we could see in our big AAA games, but we don't see in our AAA games. So we got to build that hype for ourselves so that they know that that's something that we're looking for, so that then we can start to see said like games and programs and applications be made. But anyways, I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these videos. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black the one and only, logging out. Peace guys, and I'll see you guys soon. Check the guy.